Now, yesterday we introduced you to an organization helping people find love right here in Charlotte. Today we're shifting the focus to something just as important, making meaningful connections right here in the Queen City. After the break, we're learning more about filling cups. Welcome back to QC Life. Now that we've made it through the busy holiday season, the quiet season that follows can feel a little bit isolating for many Americans. According to a recent study from the AARP, 40% of adults age 45 and older actually struggle with loneliness. And isn't working, one local group is making connections a little bit easier. Filled Cups brings people together in a fun and intentional way. So joining me now to talk all about it is founder Fernanda Brasileiro. I'm so glad that you're here. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
So one thing I told you just before the show is on our show, Coffee and Conversations, we always ask our guests, what fills your cup at the end of the day? So I loved that when I saw Filled Cup was your mission. So
yes.
What did you want to reach out to the community and do with Filled Cups?
Yes, so Filled Cups, the mission is to fight the loneliness epidemic. And the vision with the name Filled Cups is that you would fill your own cup with emotional connection, like real relationships, whether it be friendships or maybe something else. But we've been focusing more on friendships because we saw a bigger need for that here. I'm sure other cities too, but here in Charlotte. And it spans all generations. Like just now they were talking about older folks, but actually I see a lot of need among younger folks too. And I think it's because of the social media and the isolation and everyone's working from home, and that a lot of the people who come to my events are remote workers who don't have an ability to meet other people socially outside of putting themselves out there.
Yeah, and you mentioned social media because it's something that I think as much as it can kind of just be a very instantaneous feed, it always looks like everyone else is living a bigger, better, fuller life than we are. And we're just sitting there looking at other people. So do you feel like that makes our world even smaller when we're only looking at it through that digital lens?
Yes, because it's social media, as a lot of you guys already know, like people only put the positive side of their lives on display, whereas for you to make friends, it requires some vulnerability to connect. And usually when you can get people together in person and sharing some commonalities, the vulnerability comes out very naturally. And that's a good way and an effective and efficient way to make friends.
So how have you designed these events for people who are, basically strangers to come together and leave with genuine connections?
Yes. So that's the fun part. I do a little bit of a nerdy thing where I make activities for the tables and I have people do the activities.
Okay.
Almost like I'm a teacher giving you like activities.
A little project.
Yeah, some handouts you got to fill out. But they're usually related to get to know you questions. Some of them are games, but they're games that help you get to know the other person. And before the people even come to my event, I do have them fill out a brief survey that helps me put them in the right table. So like, I look at a few lifestyle factors. Okay. So it's almost like I'm pre-matching them. I've hosted more than 12 of these now. And I know quite a few people here in Charlotte who have made friends at these events.
And the fact that you're creating friendships that are lasting. And like you said, this is really focused on that friendship, that camaraderie, which I think so many of us might have great friends, but it's just creating that effort and that connection. So if somebody's going to one of these events and maybe they do want to strike out on their own, what advice would you give them for coming in as a first timer?
Yes, definitely come with an open mind, an open heart, and then be proactive about taking each other's contact information and following up. That's something that I think because of social media, people aren't as proactive about, but that it happens in the follow-up. So like say you and I were at my event and I asked your number and then I text you and I go, Jana, let's go out for coffee. It's at that coffee that our friendship is going to get deeper.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful advice. I want to make sure really quickly before we go, why was this so important to you to make sure you could pour into other people?
Yes, thank you so much. I wanted to start something meaningful that actually helped society. And it became apparent that the loneliness epidemic was real and not getting better anytime soon. In fact, probably getting worse. So I wanted to be part of the solution and not part of the problem.
Well, you were absolutely part of the solution and part of a whole lot of new beautiful friendships. Yeah. Thank you so much for giving us the invite.
Thank you so much.
Jorge?
Ladies, fantastic. And get this, from filled cups to filling up our cups, I'm heading to the kitchen to get a taste of Super Rica's dry January menu.